Hello, it's Darren, aka Skipper D, and I'm here with a paper chart of St. George Island, Apalachicola Bay. These are the places where I sailed during the holidays, Christmas, New Year's, December 2025 into January 2026, and I had a really good time sailing my Com-Pac picnic cat named Bluebell. I've got a lot of videos on the channel about this. You can see all the different sails that I did and the routes that I took. I just wanted to share a little bit on the paper chart because paper charts are really fun. And I'll point out some different areas here and explain where I went and what you might do if you sail in this area yourself. So there are a few major areas that I would point out here. One is, of course, the island itself. So we have St. George Island right here, and it's a barrier island. Here's the mainland up here. So there's a town, as you're coming in, there's a town called East Point. So you go East Point and you take this bridge out to St. George Island. It's a 4-mile long bridge. It's a pretty cool bridge. It's fun to drive over. So that's what gets you on and off the island. From East Point, there's also another bridge west to Apalachicola. Really great town. Lots of cool shops and things there, and a lot of history in this area. This here is the bay, Apalachicola Bay, and I guess all of this could be referred to as Apalachicola Bay. But the bridge is sort of an unofficial divider between Apalachicola Bay, and sometimes on some maps and charts you might see this referred to as St. George Sound, east of the bridge heading to the island. What you see on this chart is a channel. So there's a channel that's part of the ICW, the Intracoastal Waterway. So it comes in from the east, and you have channel markers here that are going up in value. So we see 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, etc. as they're going west. The channel comes in from the northeast and then kind of goes south, southwest, and then goes west this way until you reach up to 76 and 77 are the channel markers. And then the channel points sharply north from there, starting with channel markers 1 and 2. And this channel takes you up into Apalachicola. When I first got into the area and I was looking for where to launch the boat, there is a boat ramp on the island, and it's right about here where I'm pointing my divider. So right there's the ramp. And it's a decent enough ramp, though if you have a lot of wind coming in from the east, you're going to have waves sort of coming into the ramp area, and this can get really treacherous. If it's a day where the wind is really piped up, you may have some trouble launching here. There is a ramp, and then there's sort of a dock side with ladders where you can put your boat, but you got to be really careful if the weather's rough. The first time I went out, actually the first 3 times, I used this ramp. And the first time was just testing the motor. The second time I went out, it turned out conditions were quite rough. Actually, I think that was the third time. First time I just tested the motor. Second time, I think I actually did get off here, and I went up this way into the channel and out. And the third time was too rough. I came off the launch ramp and it was too rough, and I just turned around and came back. And then the other times that I launched, I actually launched from Apalachicola, which I will talk about in a moment. When I was able to sail here, well, let me say the first time I went out, I was testing the motor. I made the mistake of going east. And what happened was at low tide, you can see the depths here, 1 feet, 3 feet, 2 feet, 4 feet. I came off of the ramp, and visually it looked, when I looked out over the water, it looked like I should kind of head this way east, and that ended up being a mistake because I ran aground actually. My centerboard was hitting bottom, and I had to pull everything up, my centerboard, my rudder, my motor, and just let the current take me over all this shallow area until I drifted out into this deeper area where I could then drop everything and then kind of head up north and try to come around back into the ramp where there is deeper water. When I was able to sail though, I went out sort of this northeast way. So you really want to head north and then east and then get into this channel as quick as you can, because then you'll be in deeper water. So I went downwind. The wind was coming out of the west, and I went down this channel until I got to this channel marker here. I think this is was this right here? Yeah, 2728. I got right about here, and I was doing great, making good time. I had the wind behind me and the current. And then I thought, well, let me do a figure 8 around these markers here, because I want to know what it's like to go upwind in my new boat that I had never sailed before. And I really got caught out. I was really struggling to get upwind and up against the current, and I ended up having to motor sail my way all the way back through the channel. And I was kind of going back and forth, I think, if I recall correctly. Anyway, made my way all the way back to the ramp. But what I discovered later was there's actually a much better ramp over in Apalachicola. And it's right here. You can actually see it. See it on the chart. Let's see if I can zoom in here. So there's a shape here. This is a marina. This is a park and a marina. It's the Battery Park Marina. And this is where they have an excellent ramp, 3 docks, really calm water, protected waters, versus over here you're very exposed to the elements. Up in Apalachicola, from Battery Park, you're very well protected. So you can get out on really calm water, getting out of the marina, and then into the channel immediately. So from the time I discovered this, I used this ramp and this launch point. You'll see from my other videos, and I have a short that shows all the routes that I took. But I went down through this channel. One day I had winds out of the west or out of the east. One day they were west, and another day they were east. So you could do a beam reach all the way down the channel. You could do a beam reach. And so I came down here, and I kind of got into this area, which is really where the deeper water is. And you really feel like you're out in the bay once you get out beyond the channel markers. It's really quite fun to sail around down here. I turned around and went back. Another day I came all the way down to this area here, this inlet. This is known as Government Cut, or also as the Bob Sykes Cut. This is a cut that separates St. George Island from Little St. George Island, and it goes out to the ocean. So here, this is all the Gulf of Mexico down here, Gulf of America, whatever you want to call it. It's the Gulf. Anyway, here's this inlet. You got to be careful here. This water can get very turbulent. I've got another video where I was heading toward this area, and I ran into some really turbulent waters, and I had to turn back. Went all the way back up through the channel. Another day, I tried going down this channel south and then to the east, and I was intentionally heading upwind. So the winds were out of the east, and you can see on my chart that or you can see on my GPS course that I kind of went back and forth on my track, tacking upwind. I could only get so far. I only got about here, and then I had to turn back, and I went out this way, up toward the marina. And then another day, I came down, we had winds out of the south and southwest. I was coming down the channel, and getting down the channel was really hard going upwind. Once I got deep enough, I turned out this way and went almost all the way to the bridge, the big bridge that gets onto the island. I really wanted to go under the bridge, but I was running out of time. I got real close to it though, and then I had to turn around and go back. And I've got videos of my trip heading back. What's interesting is I was heading back up this way, and I had to then tack and go southwest. And you can see right here on the chart that there is a wreck right there. And I was using Navionics to find my way, and I ended up, when I tacked, I was heading straight for it. So then I had to kind of go around it. I had to tack several times to make my way around this wreck. And my last video, I think it was my last video, I had a lot of trouble finding the channel again, in that I was out here. I could see it on the Navionics, but I visually could not see any of the channel markers. That's in a video called Where Are the Channel Markers? Anyway, I finally got close to them that I could see them, and I made my way back north and back to the marina. All in all, I will say this is a really fun sailing area. You do have to be careful of objects in the water. I saw several trees and some other odd things sticking up out of the water. So you do have to be careful of that. But if you're in a small boat and you want to sail in a bay that's got some really good winds and big open area to sail and have fun, especially in the wintertime, this was a fantastic experience for me, and I will definitely be heading back probably next year. Next steps for me is when I come back and stay on the island, one of the things I want to do is I want to circumnavigate this island. I want to go all the way up. There's an area off the chart here that is known as the East Pass. So I want to go up and through the East Pass and back into the channel and around. That's one way you could do it, especially if you have a westerly wind, going down through the cut and out and around into the Gulf and around the island. That would be a cool way to do it. As a bailout point, if I got stuck, there is a town, a city, small city, called Carabel, which is further northeast off of this chart. I'll have to go to another page to show it, but called Carabel, and I could spend a night in Carabel if I had to. So theoretically, I could launch from Battery Park, circumnavigate the entire island and do it in one day. It's possible, but if I ran into weather or some situation where I did have to bail out, Carabel would be one of the options. But again, all in all, really fantastic sailing area, and I can't wait to go back.